Hey, I am here today with Joshua and Haley Trimble, who know nothing about chickens, right?
Pretty much.
But guess what? They're about to be poultry growers. So anyway, I want to talk a little bit about what you did to go, because I get this phone call, and one of the first things they tell me is you got to go find a company. That's what you did. So tell me a little bit about what you did. You bought this land, and now you want to grow chickens. So what'd you start doing?
Well, the first thing we started doing is in our area we have multiple options for integrators because it is centralized here.
Yeah.
And so we started talking to the various companies and looking at what they offered, the cost, the contract specifications, just looking at all the variables to see if it made sense for us to basically invest and do this financially.
Right.
We knew that we wanted to do something agricultural. So like I said, we researched the companies, met with them, and kind of checked them off a list of what
we need this land to make some money for us.
Yeah, because you just moved from the city, wanting to live the country life, but we got to figure out how to pay for all
Yeah, you still got put food on the table.
Exactly. And we went to some local farms for various integrators and talked to the farmers. Some of these were 2, 3, 4 generation farmers and asked them how they did it, what their success was, what their failures were, what they could change with their integrator if they had the option.
Sure.
So we weighed all of that out and we started marking integrators off.
And we called them all.
We called every one of them.
Yeah.
And we met with every one of them, and we looked at the performance, the data. That's what you really need to look at is the numbers.
Yeah.
Because some of the integrators we met with, they would tell you one thing about profit or about expense, and then you would talk to the actual farmer that was integrated with that company, and the numbers didn't match.
Well, and like I remember I told you that that one we went into, the numbers supposedly looked really great, and then when we came out, I was like, that guy looks miserable.
Yes.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Right.
It just didn't make sense with some of these companies. So one thing I would tell everybody is make sure the numbers are 100% correct. Because a lot of integrators, unfortunately, they'll tell you one thing, but the performance isn't there.
And another thing is this too, like even in real estate, you may say, okay, well this is, or not even just real estate, but business, like, okay, the company is doing this, well, you don't take into consideration this or that, and then what you're kind of going off is, well, we just had a great year at the company, and they might, so even if good intentions are there, it's still, you better be really, really careful.
Exactly. And a lot of it's based off of, with some of the integrators, production. So, I mean, if you do have an outbreak or something that affects your flock, say you're in the broilers and you get dermatitis or blackhead or something like that, the disease, your pay is going to be drastically decreased.
And directly related.
Yes, and directly related.
Yeah.
And some poultry companies, they bill the owner of the poultry facility for shavings, for feed, for gas.
Sure.
So they set up all of that, and that fluctuates.
Right.
So you really have to be careful looking at the numbers. So we decided to go with an integrator that had more of a comprehensive set contractual pay.
Right.
That way the variables are limited.
Right.
And when we looked at it overall, taking into account all of the variables that weren't accounted for, it made financial sense for us to do this endeavor.
Right.
Not as a hobby, but as a lucrative business, because that's what it is. This is a business.
Well, I tell a lot on this channel. I'm like, look, you got to run it like a business. Keep your receipts. Think about your employees. Labor. It is a business, or it's not going to be handled. So you went into it not just. I mean, this is going to be our business.
Yes. Yeah. We did a lot of research. Spoke with your accounting guy. About how to set it up properly. Like you said, keeping receipts.
Yeah.
Integrators, they'll reimburse you for certain expenses, fuel and so forth, but you only have a 60 or 90 day window to turn that in, or you don't get it back. So if you don't run it like a business and you just run it like a hobby or something, you're going to miss out on some of the financial benefits of that.
And you'll find yourself not having that lifestyle anymore because you got to go. You can't pay for this anymore.
Exactly.
Your money's not paying. I talked to a guy yesterday from Ohio that's about to get out. He's gone multiple flocks in a row without making money, and he's going to have to close the doors. So you've got this whole business idea. So you go in, Tell me a little bit about how you went in to get the loan. I mean, how did that come about?
Well, poultry loans are very tough to get. Well, I wouldn't say tough. There's only a couple of options for that.
Okay.
And you have to also read the fine print of all of those agreements.
Right.
We went with our local ag bank.
Okay.
After researching 3 different options. We had 3 companies. We had a hedge fund, another local larger bank, and then the ag bank.
Okay.
And overall, the ag bank is the one that made the most sense for us because
Right.
it is a membership and they pay a dividend based on what you pay in.
Yeah.
So there were tax advantages to that as well.
Yeah.
So we were able to obtain that financing through them.
Yeah.
And one of their specialties is poultry, so they understand the ups and downs of the poultry business.
Right.
And once they realized the integrator we were with, it was like, okay, cool. What do you need?
Yeah.
Because
They had a good relationship.
And they were
Exactly.
familiar.
Yeah.
they were familiar with their program. So that's
One of the things I tell people too about, because they're trying to maybe get started or whatever, is that, well, how do you get a loan like that? But as I understand, and you kind of correct me, but I mean, the bank then starts working with the company. They're going to tell you how much we're going to guarantee them this. And so the bank's not just taking your word that you're going to get.
Right.
You end up having to work with that company. The bank ends up working with that company, and now you're a 3. Because you're going to have to build this. I know you had some extra things done in this house. You were able to pull a little leverage. It's a great story how God worked in that situation. But you have to kind of do what they say. I mean, you can't just, I think I'll build this and I'm going to put this in. But so, yeah, so that's a little bit too. Is any insight you have on having them just, I guess, getting a good relationship with the bank and the integrator?
Well, what the first step is, once you've gone through the process, the integrator will give you a LOI, a letter of intent.
Okay.
And that basically outlines the terms of your agreement.
Perfect.
And that's what you will take to your lender to
Gotcha.
obtain your financing. And all 3 of those institutions are familiar with those
Sure.
integrators. So as long as, when the bank plugs it into their pro forma, as far as the funds, the interest, and the payback period, as long as it cash flows, in other words, there's a net profit at the end of each, then they love to loan money on poultry.
Yeah.
You got to remember, poultry is the least expensive protein in the world.
Yeah.
Always has been.
Right.
The poultry industry is not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it is thriving.
So job security.
Yep. Gotta eat. It's going, yeah.
Exactly.
It's
No
the way
matter
to feed
what,
the
you
world.
have to put food on
Yes.
the table, and if it
Yeah.
gets really bad, you're going to look for the least expensive option, which is chicken.
Right.
So it's not going anywhere, and in order for us to do this, it literally, you mentioned moving mountains.
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing for us. If it wasn't for the grace of God and the blessings of moving 4 mountains to allow us to
Yeah.
And
accomplish
be willing
this,
to let the Lord work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just step back and
Yes.
go, we're okay. We're not emotionally tied to this, Lord. You handle
Right.
it.
At one point, we actually backed away from the whole idea because
Right.
we didn't think it was in the Lord's plan for us.
Right.
And so on Sunday, we had that conversation that it ain't meant to
I guess
be,
we'll
and
do
we're going to
something
back
else.
away. And on Tuesday afternoon, our phone rang, and the next thing you know, this is what we're blessed with.
He called me and he said, "You're not going to believe this."
Yeah.
Sure enough.
So it worked out greatly, and we couldn't be happier with our decision. And
Yeah.
like I said, in our particular situation, we just turned it over and
Yeah.
to the Lord. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And we're standing here today in House 4, under
Yeah.
construction.
Happy and nervous.
Yeah, happy and nervous.
Because this is who's going to run the farm.
Yep.
Joshua can talk a lot of good
He
talk,
can
but
talk the
Haley
nervous.
it's going to be Haley's hens out
Yes.
here.
Yep.
So what are you excited about the most, or anxious, or
Well,
what?
I'm
What's your
excited about
number?
being able to stay on my farm.
Oh yeah.
And 100,000 birds isn't as scary as all the technical
Oh yeah, sure.
new innovations
Learn
that
all
I'm going to be in charge of.
Yeah, and you all didn't know a thing about it, and you're about to be thrown into.
No, we didn't.
Yeah.
We not at all.
So you're excited for the challenge. Here we
Yes,
go.
but I know that they don't want us to fail either.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
we're just going to lean on them.
Which is a great point, because a lot of these people that are thinking about getting into it, they don't know anything about it at all.
Ask
Or they
questions.
probably wouldn't be watching this video. But Here's somebody who just moved from the city,
Yes.
retired from teaching last year, and is now about to be a full-blown poultry farmer.
Full time.
And you feel confident that they are, from what I get from you, you feel really good the fact that they're going to help you succeed.
Yes.
So that's a cool thing that probably people need to understand is, yeah, the integrator wants you to succeed. Now,
They do.
They're gonna let you be responsible for a lot of stuff still, but I mean,
It's in relationships, and a lot of people
Yeah.
say, "Oh, well, our field guy did this, and he's got it out for us that," and you gotta be, you know that they
Yeah.
don't want you to fail.
yeah,
They really don't.
Yeah, you don't succeed unless they succeed.
That's right.
If they're not making money, you're not gonna make money.
Right.
And we talk to multiple integrators, their field techs, and also, one level
Right.
above them. And basically, they have protocols in place for a reason,
Yeah.
And that was one of the interesting things. The integrator we decided to go with, they have a checklist.
Yeah.
And if you follow their rules and guidelines, then you have this production. And in talking with some of the other companies, and not so much the company, but going out and actually meeting the farmers, they may bypass one or two of their biosecurity protocols.
I like a checklist.
I like a checklist because if you follow the checklist, you will perform.
Yeah.
If you don't follow the checklist and you don't wipe your feet and so forth, and you go into your poultry farm and you're in a hurry or whatever, and you don't follow the security protocol, and then half your flock dies,
Yeah.
that's on you.
It seems like it's not a big deal until half your flock is gone.
Yeah,
Right,
until
right,
you get that paycheck at the end of your
Yeah.
flock and you were expecting X
Yeah.
and you got B.
Right.
Yeah.
right.
There's a huge difference,
Yeah.
and that's the difference in saying that your farm's making money or that it's killing you.
Right.
So when we look at it as a complete business.
Yeah.
And overall, if we follow the protocol, it's going to perform and it's going to give us what we need financially
Yeah.
to make it beneficial for us.
Yeah.
And we couldn't be more excited
Well,
about it.
good. Now, you can tell the excitement that these are about to be new growers, and they haven't quite done it yet. So we're going to maybe come back in about 3 years and see if all of this is the same take they have on it. But I think it will. They're
See
excited.
if we still have the same outlook.
See if you still have the same outlook. But yeah, it's going to be a good thing. I'm excited for y'all. So I believe this will be a big help because you hit a few of the big things. How you chose your integrator, how are you dealing with the bank, and the fact that you can do it even if you don't know anything.
You gotta be
can
willing to
learn.
call these people.
Yeah.
And like she said a second ago, just ask the question. If you have any interest in it at all, sit down with these companies
Yeah.
and ask the question, point blank.
I've never found anybody not willing to talk about it.
Because
Nobody.
a lot of these people are going to be surprised to see new houses going up.
That's right.
Because there are a lot of people bankrupt and they're getting out of it, but there are still, so the integrator needs
They do.
more growers.
Yes.
They need more growers. So it's possible, it's out there. So I hope this was a help. A lot of our poultry growers are not necessarily going to watch this, but people who watch our YouTube channel who are kind of interested in this may be resonate with you. So thanks, Joshua.
Absolutely.
Haley, good luck on this new venture, and if I can help anybody in any way, give me a call, 1-800-608-3755, or Alan at southlandorganics.com.